Hello everyone, this is Kyle from Geeks for Hire, and today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite champions in Heroes of the Storm, Arthas the Lich King. Arthas has a very special place in the Heroes of the Storm because he's actually a warrior that can build full complete tank like most warriors, but he also has a bruiser side to him where he actually can deal more damage than most other warriors. I'm going to explain a few strengths and weaknesses, and then I'm going to explain my two builds, his full tank build and then his high damage disruption build. His strengths include powerful crowd control abilities, he has extremely high CC, he's good at clearing merc camps on his own, he has extremely strong self-sustain, he's fairly tanky in the mid to late game, and he can deal a bunch of damage compared to other warriors in this game. His weaknesses would include that compared to other warriors, he's actually very weak early game in terms of health. He's very mana dependent. You have to be really smart about how you use his abilities and make sure you don't keep his E on. He also is very bad at catching up to people unless you can root them, so he has no gap closers. With that being said, let's jump right into my tank build. At level 1, I take Regeneration Master. Collecting regeneration globes permanently increases health regeneration by 1.5 per second. This is actually a very important talent because it keeps you in the game longer, especially in mid to late game. Choosing this at level 1 is really what's going to impact that late game as long as you collect globes. You get one from every minion wave. Also, if you choose to roam lanes, you can pick up regen globes that way. It's really up to you. I tend to solo in a lane, but you can roam. Also, most high objectives will end up dropping globes, so you can pick those up too. At level 4, I take Destruction. Damage boost of Frostmourne Hungers increased to 150% damage. This actually is quite surprising burst of damage. You'll be doing your normal basic attacks and then you push your trait and bam, you just deal this huge burst of damage, and you can actually auto reset your attacks with it. So you can attack D and then you'll attack again. So you get 3 quick hits off. At level 7 I take Rune Tap. Every third basic attack heals you for 3.12% of your max health. This will help you be able to sustain longer, and with your Death Coil, you pretty much won't ever have to be almost the entire game, as long as you take from the well here and there. Also, this goes completely into play with what I was talking about with the basic hit, trait basic hit, because it's 3 attacks in quick succession. Because you're going for as tanky as you can, at level 10 I take Army of the Dead. You summon ghouls that last 15 seconds. Sacrifice ghouls to heal for 584, 128 plus 24 per level health. So basically what you do is you take these, you activate it, they actually are minions that attack with you and attack whatever you're attacking, but you can consistently sacrifice them for health. And this is going to keep you alive in those team fights, whether you get jumped or whether you initiate. This ability, if he's not focused, makes Arthas a formidable tank, and we're only going to build further upon it with the rest of the build. At level 13, I take Relentless. Reduces the duration of silences, stuns, slows, and roots against your hero by 50%. The reason I take this is because Arthas has a lot of problems dealing with CC because he deals out a lot of it, but if he gets CC'd, it's hard for him to get up to them if he misses his moves. Also, this will allow you to be able to keep using Army of the Dead, keep attacking, because if you're silenced, stunned, you can't keep using your abilities to heal. Then at level 16, I take Stone Skin. Activate to gain 30% of your maximum health as a shield for 5 seconds. This is good if you're initiating and you go right in. It's also good to just stay alive in the fight while your ghouls are up and you can keep healing because you have that chunk to help you. At level 20, I build upon what we've been doing with Hardened Shield. You reduce damage taken by 75% for 4 seconds. So with your Stone Skin, with your Hardened Shield, and with your Army of the Dead, you will be a formidable opponent. You will not be able to be focused down easily. If they focus anything on you while you have those shields up, you're doing a perfect job as your role in the team as a tank, because that damage is not going to be on anyone else and you will not be dying from it. Arthas is one of the few heroes in this game that can do this and take high amounts of damage and still walk out of it alive if you build this. Now, my favorite build is actually my next one, and this is what I build with another tank, and I have a lot more fun with, though. At level 1, I take Regeneration Master again. I don't want to just say you can't take block in any of these builds. Obviously, you should build around whatever team you're facing. These are just builds that normally work for pretty much everything. But I almost always take Regeneration Master because I end up collecting so many globes, and that health regen just helps late game. Also, like I said, block is still very strong. So if you're more comfortable with that and you're used to taking block and you're like 1v2ing a lane, don't ever think that I think that's bad. Block is absolutely acceptable to take, and if you feel like you'd rather do that than Regeneration Master, that's up to you. I just recommend Regeneration Master. At level 4, I take Destruction again, so damage boost to Frostmourne, Hungers increased to 150% damage. Needless to say, it's just going to be dealing a lot of damage, and we're going to build around that. At level 7, I take Frost Strike. Frostmourne Hungers slows the target by 40% for 1.5 seconds. That's going to allow you to come up on his E, which will be that AoE slow damage move. So you're going to slow them into this. It's also going to be good for chasing. If you can end up getting to the back line and you just slow their carry or whatnot, and then the rest of them can jump on it, it's really useful for that. At level 10, you take one of my favorite heroics in the game, Summon Sindragosa. You deal 450, 165 plus 15 per level, damage and slows enemies by 60% for 2 seconds, also disables minions for 10 seconds and structures for 20 seconds. This is the best initiate in the game in my opinion. I have won teamfights completely for being able to time this ult. Now, before I go into a little bit more of what you can do with it, I want you to note that it takes a few seconds to actually use the ult. Arthas shoves Frostmourne into the ground and then summon Sindragosa. Obviously, Sindragosa comes out, and she comes and flies by and slows everyone, and it's one of the most amazing initiates, and it helps you actually get out if you're being chased. Now, you might have to stand there because you're using it. That's why I use it to initiate. Also, it makes for amazing tower dives because the towers will not be working. They completely shut off for 20 seconds. It's ridiculous. So if you guys know you're about to team fight, go ahead and use her, summon her in, slow everyone. Your team just piles onto them. It is my favorite ult in the game. At level 13, I take Biting Cold. Frozen Tempest damage increased by 50%. This makes his AoE to the mid to late game absolutely ridiculous. You'll be able to solo camps with ease with Frostmourne Hungers as well as with Frozen Tempest. Also, when you're in team fights, just sitting around people with this AoE, you'll realize just how squishy people are when this AoE is just absolutely shredding them. Continuing on with the trait of Frostmourne, at level 16 I take Frostmourne Feeds. Increase application to your next 2 basic attacks. Basically you get to use your trait twice, and so like I said, we've been building upon this with the 150% damage and the slow, so you can hit 2 targets with it, or you can hit the same target twice. Either way, it's just really good. And then at level 20, I still take Hardened Shield of reduced damage taken by 75% for 4 seconds. This still allows you to be an effective bruiser and allows you to stay in the fight. You can activate it, then do Summon Sindragosa since you have to stay still for a few seconds as she comes out. And it'll basically save you completely in the fight, and then you'll still be at full health, ready to fight after you've snared them. Then you put on your E and you go and you just absolutely destroy the team with your team. I hope these builds help you with your journey with Arthas and Heroes of the Storm. He's my most played hero in this game. He's my favorite hero in the game, at least right now until someone else is released. Lich King is my favorite character when it comes to lore, so it just makes sense that he's so well represented in this game. It takes quite a bit of practice though of knowing when to turn off your E and whatnot. Just keep practicing at him in some quick matches. Right now he's actually tier 1 in the meta, so if you find out you're really good with him, go ahead and take him in to ranked, and if people are asking who you're going to go and whatnot, make sure you communicate with your team and say, hey, I'm going to go Arthas, but I want to deal more AoE damage with Sindragosa. I'm sure a lot of people would be happy to oblige with being another tank. If not, you can use your full tank build, and you'll be able to tank with the best of them out there by the mid to late game. So I hope this build helps, and I hope you have a great time using the Lich King. This is Kyle for Geeks for Hire, signing off. Have a great day.